If Republicans can't get the stop spending message out tonight, we think we found the guys who can. Get ready. Things are about to get loud. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and it is probably an understatement to say Republicans have a PR problem, increasingly viewed as the gang who can't shoot straight or come up with a clear response to a president they say is running roughshod. Disgruntled conservatives keep asking the same questions of once feisty Republicans. Why do you keep caving on taxes? Why do you do nothing about spending? How is it that a party that lost its bid for the White House acts like all of a sudden it lost the House? You didn't. Stop behaving like you did. After all, these angry GOPers rant. Voters returned Republicans to the body that sets all spending issues. So why the heck are Republicans on defense on spending issues? What happened to their backbone? More to the point, what happened to their soul? Tonight, I want you to meet the folks who have been brought in to perform an exorcism on the right. They are Michelle Fields and former Florida Congressman Allen West. Now, you know their faces. Get ready for both of them to get in liberals' faces. First, by waking up some very young voters. They're launching a web show called, appropriately enough, Next Generation. And if you are young, hot, and bothered, they want to get you jazzed, angry, and involved. Guys, welcome to both of you. Allen West, you first. You're unleashed now from congressional jobs and duties. What do you want to do here?
Well, Neil, it's a pleasure to be with you. And I think the most important thing, being a father of two teenage daughters, 19 and 16, is to take my experiences, take my perspectives and insights on these current issues, having been a member of Congress. And we want to be able to take those current issues to the next generation, to the young people, and let them know how important it is for them to stand up for their future. And not just the young people, but also the grandparents and the parents, so that we can make sure that we're not the first generation that leaves less for our subsequent generations.
You know, Michelle, young people, by and large, voted 7 out of 10 of them for Barack Obama. So you have an uphill fight ahead of you.
Yeah, we certainly do. But I think that this website and this new show is really going to change things. Look, if you watch the news, there's so many politicians and pundits who talk about the current events and the way that it affects older generations, older Americans, their Social Security, their Medicare. But no one really talks about how it affects...
Were you pointing to Allen when you said older?
Yeah, it's the gray hair.
I just wanted to know if Allen did, but go ahead.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to explain these issues in terms of how it affects young people, because we're the ones who are going to inherit all of this debt. We're constantly talking about spending and spending, but no one comes to us and says, how do you feel about it? We're the ones who are going to have to pay for this. We're going to shoulder it. So I hope I can be a voice for the next generation. That's my plan, and I'm so excited that I have the old but wise and experienced Allen West to spearhead the fight.
I don't know if that was a compliment or put down.
Oh, believe me, she did the same when she was here with me, Allen. You know, but I wonder in your case, you know where all the bodies are buried, Allen. You know how they play this game, and you know how they avoid tough decisions, both parties. And you were very critical of both parties in the way they sort of cede their responsibilities, and you got a lot of flack for that. Some would argue you lost the campaign because of that, then you wouldn't cede your principles for that. You're to be admired, but it is a reminder how what has happened to your party since, because only 2 years after taking over Congress or taking over the House, it seems as if they've forgotten what got them there in the first place.
Well, Neil, you bring up a great point, and one of the lessons that my parents taught me that I carry on to my generation, and I hopefully can instill into the next generation, my two daughters, is that a man must stand for something or else he'll fall for anything. And I think that's the frustration. So when you see someone as myself that kind of knows where the bodies are buried, has those experiences, I can team up with someone like the beautiful and talented Michelle Fields. Notice I didn't put her down.
Oh, I feel bad now.
You know, that way we can take that message to the young people, and we can really get them to be engaged and to understand. And, you know, taking heat, taking flack is no big deal for me. I've been in combat. I've been shot at a few times. But it's important that we make sure that this great nation and that which makes it exceptional, that which makes it great, the economic opportunities and growth and the expansion of wealth, not the demonizing of people being able to have the opportunities to do well, we got to make sure those things are passed on to the next generation. That's what we're going to talk about here.
Well, you're doing it on the web that draws more young people as a proportion than any other demographic group. And Michelle, that's to be complimented. But I mean, I always think with this kind of stuff, it's treating your audience with respect, whether over the web or on cable or on broadcast. They're not idiots. It's with the same with business news. Just because you're not proficient, it doesn't mean you can't understand it. And I think it's important, whatever you guys do, you don't need any nickel and dime advice from me, but it's important to focus on the nickel and dimes and how much you're spending and where that money's coming from or not coming from. How do you intend to do that?
Well, look, I think a lot of young people are outraged right now. I mean, if you look at Occupy Wall Street, how apathetic and upset people are. So that outrage is there, that apathy.
But their rage is built on anger at a system that isn't doing enough for them, a government that isn't doing enough for them. So how do you counter that, look, you shouldn't be asked what the government can do for you? How do you address that?
Well, the thing is we're hoping that we're going to bring a lot of young folks in who understand that we're trying to empower them. We're trying to hear their voice and also share, our point of view of what the solutions should be. So, yeah, they have the outrage, but the thing is they don't understand the solution. They don't know how to fix the problem. And so we're hoping to provide some examples of solutions.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we're going to be doing in the show, Neil. We're going to look at the next generation entrepreneurs. We're going to look at next generation startup businesses. And we're going to talk about some of those impediments to them being able to start the business, the economic environment, the tax policy, the regulatory policy, the failing monetary policy that's devaluing our dollar. But like you say, talk in very simple facts and terms that they can understand. And as well, we're going to feature those young men and women out there in the military that are making sure that we can have this great nation. We're going to call them the next generation guardians. So that's how we're going to reach out and touch people and get them to understand that they've got to pay attention to the policies emanating out of Washington, D.C.
Guys, when I have you here, quick thoughts on some very hot-button issues right now. I'll leave this to either one. One is that Republicans should hold tight on this debt ceiling thing and risk shutting the government down if the president doesn't give on spending. Yes or no?
I got to say yes on that, because if we don't start to self-discipline ourselves, if we do not start to prioritize what we're doing as far as spending. Look, Neil, once again, the letter from the OMB director, Jeffrey Zients, was sent over to the House saying that the Obama administration will miss the deadline for sending a budget over. And that deadline, which is February the 4th, is the exact same day we're going to launch the entire Next Generation Today show. So tune in on that day, because we won't miss that suspense.
Now, what time are you on?
We're looking at posting that video, I believe, about 3 p.m. Pacific Coast time.
3 p.m. Pacific, so it's 6 p.m.
And it's nextgeneration.tv.
Okay, good. As long as you're not competing with me. All right, that's because that would
no, we would never compete with the great Cavuto.
You probably want to run video from my show and bring in that young female cheerleader vote. But that's just an idea. Guys, seriously,
Sure,
I'm kidding. I wish you both great success. You're both very good, decent people. And we could do worse than to have guys like you pounding a message.
Thank you.
Best of luck, guys.
Appreciate it very much.
Best of luck.
Good luck to you.